Hello there, class. Right now, you're probably very busy going through all the graphs for the market structures, getting a greater understanding of profit maximization, and really combing through the theory of the firm. Now, what I want to take a couple of minutes to do right now is to bring all of this theory together and actually look at profit maximization from a numerical example. We're going to take that theory and we're going to do some calculations. I'm going to start specifically with a purely competitive firm. If you'll remember, a purely competitive firm has very distinctive characteristics. Firstly, there are a large number of sellers. There are also what we call price takers. No firm dominates the market. And because there's so many sellers in the market, a particular firm will have to take the price from the market. There's also freedom of entry and exit. So new firms can enter freely and existing firms can leave when they want to. More importantly, in a purely competitive firm, the product is standardized. So, with that, let's take what we know about cost of production, take what we know about a purely competitive firm being a price taker, and see if we can visualize profit maximization. Now, if you look at my screen, I have a hypothetical example of a purely competitive firm. Over here, we have how much of the product they're producing, the quantity, 1, 2, 3, and so on. Then to the right, we have what's called fixed costs. I hope you remember that from the cost of production chapter. These are costs that will not change with output. Then we have variable costs. These are costs that change directly with output. Then we have total costs. Then we have total revenue. That's how much the firm will earn from selling the good. And then we have our concept of profits or losses. So let's jump right in. What do you remember about fixed costs? Was there a particular characteristic? We said they don't change with output. So no matter the output level, these costs will not change. Look at output level 8. Do you see it? I'm going to highlight it. You see it? Output level 8. How much is the fixed cost? It's 60. So here's my question for you. Given what we know about fixed costs, if at output level 8, I have to pay a fixed cost of 60, how much would I pay at output level 0? It's fixed costs. It's fixed costs. It's fixed costs. The reason why I'm saying that is I'm hoping you know no matter the output level, the fixed costs will remain the same. That's the nature of fixed costs. It doesn't change with output. So once you know what the fixed cost is at any level of output, you know what it is for all the output levels. That's why I fill those in. You see it? Now the variable cost is given. That's not something you can guess. So things like labor, your utilities, what you pay for materials, this is given in the question for each output level. So we need to figure out total costs. Do you remember what total cost is? I'll give you a hint. If you have fixed costs and variable costs, you have all the costs that the business could face in this example. So what would total cost be? You have fixed and you have variable. How would you get the total costs? we would add them together. So at output level 0, fixed cost is 60. Remember, you gotta pay that no matter what. And variable cost is 0. So total cost would be 60. You get it? Output level 1. Go on. Tell me what you think. Tell me what you think. You should be adding those in your calculator. Adding them all up. Thinking about each unit. Yeah? Yeah. You get it? And if we keep going, there we go. We keep adding these two together. Then we will have total costs. Now here's where I want you to give pause a bit. What about total revenue? Total revenue. Do you remember what that is? The total amount that a business earns from selling a good. How do we figure that out? Let me give you a hint. Over here is everything we're producing. We're producing 0, 1, 2, 3, and so on. If you want to figure out how much you earn from selling the good, we already know how much of the good you're making. It moves from 0 to 10. How do we figure out how much money you earn? You gotta know the price. Do you see down here? What do we say? The price of the product is $56. And remember, it's pure competition. So if it's a purely competitive firm, what does that mean? It means the price at every output level is the same. They're a price taker. So if they produce 0 amount of the good, how much money would they earn if they're not making anything? It would be 0. Now what about if they make 1 unit of the good? Remember the price is 56. If they make and sell 1 unit of the good, how much money would they earn? 1, and they sell it for $56, they would just earn $56. What about 2 units and they're selling it for 56? Well, it's 2 of them, so they will get 56 plus 56. What I want you to see is that total revenue is just equal to price multiplied by quantity. So your total revenue is price times quantity. That's what you're doing here. So if you do 2 units of the good, it would be the price times the quantity. You get it? So each time, that's what you do. Yeah? 3 units, it would be the price times the quantity. Yeah? And so on. I hope you get it, what we're doing here. So, if you keep going, you get it? Let's see if we can get them all in here. That's your total revenue, price times quantity. Now let's figure out this final column. Your profit or your losses? You're business people. How do you figure out if you're making money or losing money? Think. How do you figure out if you're making money or losing money? Well, you have the revenue, how much money you got from selling the good, and you have the cost, how much it costs you to produce the good. So, to figure out if you're making money or losing money, how would you get that calculation? It would have to be the total revenue and you subtract the total cost. Doesn't that make sense? How much money you get from selling the good and you subtract how much it costs you to produce it. So When you produce nothing, you earn zero, but you still have to pay the $60 fixed cost. So 0 minus 60, that would be your losses at output level 0. What about when you make 1 unit of the good? Well, it will be the 56 and you subtract the 105. You're still losing money. Yeah? Let's keep going. You get it? Oh, by the time you get to 4, you're getting in the positive. There we go. I will fill them all out. This is the profit or loss column. You see it? Look at it. Take a minute to look at it as I change the colors on it to keep your eyes focused on it. Take a minute to look at it. I'm going to ask you a question right now. If you focus just on the profit or loss column, just focus here. Just watch it. Look at it. We're the business people. Look at it. If you could choose an output level, what would you choose? Look at it. If you could choose an output, a quantity to produce, which quantity would you choose? Would you choose to produce 10? Why no? You're only earning $35 worth of profit. Is there a point where your profits are the biggest? Do you see it? It's right there at output level 8. This is where we say profits are maximized. You see it? Profits are maximized. In this example, in the profit column, this is the biggest profits possible. So where the difference between revenue and cost is the biggest possible, this is your profit maximization point. You're probably used to it as being the same point where marginal cost is equal to marginal revenue. It's pretty much the same thing. Where the difference between these two is the biggest possible is also the same thing as saying where MC is equal to MR. You get it? Profit maximization, where MC is equal to MR. All right? I hope that was helpful. Please take a minute to understand how this table works. Work it out from scratch as blank and get an idea of how the variables work. It's good practice. Bye-bye.